Another day, another swarm of tornadoes. More than 50 twisters may have touched down across 8 states overnight, and the threat isn't over yet. CBS's Laura Podesta has the latest.
This massive funnel cloud touched down in Linwood, Kansas, just outside Kansas City, as tornadoes continue to plague the Midwest and plains. The storms have now spread to the east as well.
All of a sudden, it's like rapid fire machine gun hitting the side of the house.
Twisters were reported in an area that stretched from Colorado to New Jersey.
We have a safe room underneath the front porch. We were down there and listening to the storm warnings and heard the roof come in and knew that everything upstairs was pretty much gone at that time.
Tuesday marked a record 12th straight day that at least 8 twisters were reported in the U.S. The old mark, 11 days, stood for 39 years.
Everywhere we look, we see a tree broke down or a garage tore up or a house blew to halfway over.
May has already been the country's 4th worst month for tornadoes. To date, more than 500 twisters have spawned, and there are still 3 days left until June.
The house kind of started to pulse a little bit, and then we heard the upstairs just blow up, and water started rushing in from up above.
The National Weather Service says conditions will remain ripe for more tornadoes for most of this week. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
So far, the tornadoes are being blamed for at least 15 deaths. The most recent victim was an elderly woman in Ohio who was killed when a car was blown into her house. Those storms are fueling historic flooding along the Arkansas River. Officials warned hundreds of families living in Tulsa, Oklahoma to evacuate. They're concerned levees built in the 1940s might not withstand the higher flows. Downstream in Fort Smith, Arkansas, the river is expected to reach its peak today, 20 feet above flood stage. Closer to home, flooding still hitting parts of our region and now even shutting down Cooney State Park. A press release states a temporary emergency closure is in place for Cooney Park due to high waters. The release says flooding is widespread, affecting roadways, campsites, parking areas, and boat launches. The conditions are dangerous and pose a risk to public health and safety. There's no definitive timeline for reopening of the park, but officials say the park will reopen when water levels recede. In the town of Ranchester, Wyoming, just south of the Montana state line, rising water has inundated the small town. This video shows high water covering roadways, forcing the community to use sandbags to protect their property. Ranchester sits north of the Tongue River and 5 Mile Creek. And here's a look from the skies above in Sheridan, Wyoming, where multiple inches of rain have swamped areas along the Big and Little Goose Creeks. These are images from Tim Doolin Photography. On Tuesday, Tim said his rain gauge recorded 3 inches of rain in the last 48 hours. He also says he couldn't fly some of the worst hit areas due to the proximity to the airport. On the campaign trail, Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte is preparing to enter the 2020 race for Montana governor. It would be his second attempt for the position. Our chief political reporter Mike Dennison has more on this development and what it means for the governor's contest and other races next year.
It's no secret that U.S. Representative Greg Gianforte has been thinking about getting into the 2020 Montana governor's race. But now we've learned he's telling fellow Republicans he plans to formally announce his candidacy soon, and that he's prepared to spend several $1 million of his personal wealth on the campaign. Gianforte's entrance would make a crowded GOP primary even more crowded. 3 other Republicans, Attorney General Tim Fox, State Senator Al Olszewski of Kalispell, and Secretary of State Corey Stapleton are already in the race. The governor's seat will be open next year because term limits prevent Governor Steve Bullock from running for a 3rd term. No Democrat has jumped into the governor's race yet, although Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney and House Minority Leader Casey Schreiner of Great Falls are considering it. Gianforte's entry into the gubernatorial race also would open up the 2020 contest for his U.S. House seat. Democrat Kathleen Williams of Bozeman, who ran against Gianforte last year and lost, has already launched her 2020 campaign for the seat, and State Democratic Representative Tom Winter of Missoula is in the race too. Republican State Auditor Matt Rosendale also may consider the House race, and if he gets in, the auditor's seat would become open. Gianforte is the co-founder of a Bozeman software development firm that was sold in 2014 for $1.8 billion. He wouldn't comment directly Tuesday about his 2020 plans, but a spokesman said Gianforte has been getting encouragement from many Montanans about running for governor and that he'll announce a decision in the coming weeks. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Gianforte lost the 2016 governor's race to Steve Bullock and has since twice won election as congressman for Montana. And Bullock is back in Iowa. The 2020 presidential candidate is on another whirlwind tour of the Hawkeye State in an attempt to win over voters in the key caucus state. Starting early Tuesday morning in Mason City, he trekked across the state, ending in Polk County last night, where he joined the Asian and Latino Coalition candidate reception. On to Crime Watch, one you just can't make up. A 38-year-old woman led the Montana Highway Patrol on a pursuit while naked and intoxicated. Lisa Christine Walter was arrested just east of Billings and is being held on $25,000 bond. Court records state just after 2 a.m. Monday, a trooper saw a gray sedan driving east on I-90 near the North 27th Street off-ramp. The vehicle, with no headlights on, was apparently swerving and drifting across the highway. The pursuit reached speeds of 90 to 100 miles per hour for about 3 miles, narrowly avoiding a crash. Once stopped, as the trooper approached her car with his weapon drawn, he saw Walter was not wearing any clothing. Walter faces 5 charges, including a sexual assault charge for allegedly trying to grope the trooper during her arrest. Helena Mayer and U.S. Senate candidate Wilmot Collins made his first court appearance after a traffic crash last week. Collins pled guilty to careless driving and leaving the scene of an accident. The crash happened on May 20th when police say a driver from Butte was stopped at the light and Collins rear-ended the car. Collins says his car lurched forward, but he drove off because he said he didn't think he hit the car. So the driver followed Collins to a nearby parking lot where he offered to pay her for the damage. Collins paid an $85 fine after Tuesday's court hearing. The Miss Montana has safely made it to Duxford, England for the 75th anniversary of D-Day.
Plane ran flawlessly, crew worked well together, and weather cooperated after an initial hiccup there getting out of Connecticut. But yeah, it's just sort of surreal to think that after all this time, we made it here. So yeah, there's 11 other planes here, I think, and 3 or 4 more coming. So we're meeting the other crews and planning to go out and have an evening with some of the other crews tonight.
Landing Tuesday morning, the crew made the journey from Montana across the U.S. and then the North Atlantic in just over a week. They finished the transatlantic crossing on Monday, landing in Scotland after following the Bruce Spruce route, the historic path which allowed the old planes to make gas stops by fueling up in Greenland and Iceland. Douglas says it was great to finish the trip ahead of schedule after being the tail-end Charlie of the historic group of planes, and says it would not have been possible without the financial and moral support back here in Montana.
We were probably had as much notoriety as anybody because of the heavy lift we had to get here, and so they were all thrilled. In fact, we got to the field and the tower requested that we do a low flyby.
Next week, the restored plane and her sister aircraft will drop dozens of jumpers over the beach at Normandy. It will commemorate the 75th anniversary of the paratroopers who were key to the 1944 D-Day battle. Now we go to Glacier National Park, where 13 cyclists were stranded on Going to the Sun Road after an avalanche. MTN's Martin Sue spoke with one of them and shares his experience.
With sliding, you could just see it move, and there was a slide every several minutes. A big slide would come down.
This is the sliding Richard Bridges is talking about. Bridges was one of 13 bikers trapped by an avalanche on Going to the Sun Road for 5 hours. Lauren Alley with the park says this incident is uncommon, and the mistake Bridges made was descending from Logan Pass later in the day. She says with warmer weather, avalanche danger increases.
If you start to see what we call roller balls or snowballs coming down the mountain, or if you see fresh snow on the road, or certainly if snow is crossing the road, time to call it a day.
Unsafe for bikers to cross over the snow. Allie says it took park crews 8 hours to reach the stranded bikers and plow a path for them to ride down.
They said they were going to bring up a loader, and it was already parked up there. They had been working on that part of the road, so the Park Service was great.
It was nighttime before Bridges returned safely to the parking lot. But this incident won't stop him from riding Going to the Sun Road again.
I think I'm going to ride next weekend again.
Lauren Alley with the park does have some suggestions for those wanting to bike Going to the Sun Road. Starting earlier in the day, folks can potentially avoid warming snow conditions, which could trigger avalanches on the famous Going to the Sun Road. In Glacier National Park, Martin Sue, MTN News.
Park officials say June 22nd is the earliest the road will completely open to vehicle traffic.